Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Sosa. I'm the Director of Programming for the DTLA Film Festival. On behalf of the festival, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us tonight. We'd especially like to thank all the filmmakers from all around the world that participated in our 2020 screenplay competition. The winner of that competition is The Creator, written by Ben Everhart. The table read you're about to see is directed by Colleen Davie Janes. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy.
Exterior, the Syrian desert. June 18th, 1947, 3:29 a.m. Dunes that stretch beyond the sharp horizon. A quiet, serene expanse. Hold it for a precious moment, then a noise. A Pan Am L-049 Constellation passenger plane arcs through the sky oddly, buckling hard. Something's wrong.
I was a pilot, deadheading on a Pan Am flight from Karachi to Istanbul.
Interior, swanky lounge. Prince Hotel, 1964 night. Gene Roddenberry, 43, an unkempt dreamer in a plaid suit, sits at a table with his dowdy wife Eileen, 30s, and another couple, Ed and Zelda Grayson, late 30s. Umbrella drinks cover the table. Mai Tais and blue Hawaiians. Cigarettes dangle from full ashtrays. Gene's shaggy, windswept hair gives him a dramatic edge as he holds them all in rapt attention.
5 hours into it, the captain took engine 1 offline because of a fault in the exhaust rocker arm.
Syrian desert, 1947. The aircraft lists to the side as it continues a desperate course through the night sky.
But then the 3 remaining engines overheated, and we descended to cool them down. It wasn't enough. Engine 2 caught fire.
Engine 2 sparks and pops. A trail of ominous black smoke billows as the plane shifts from flying to falling.
Fire suppressant measures failed.
My God, what did you do?
He picks his drink back up and takes a sip before saying,
We went down.
Exterior, Syrian desert. The plane collides with the earth, the port wing hitting first, pulling the rest of the aircraft and snapping it in two.
The whole plane just ripped in half.
Flames, smoke, the screams of the passengers who survived, some of them looking at the twisted bodies of the ones who didn't.
15 people died on impact. I broke 2 ribs. Yes, it hurt. But we had to get the survivors out of there.
Exterior, the Syrian desert. Younger Gene, the chief purser, and a stewardess help survivors jump out of the twisted wreckage onto the sand. There are small, intermediate explosions from inside the plane. Flames edge out of the windows. Through it all, younger Gene stays poised, composed, heroic.
The people trapped inside.
Younger Gene runs through the smoke. He finds an Indian prince and his mother. She's stuck. Seatbelt jammed, the son yanks at it, but fails. Gene pushes him aside.
Go! Go, now!
Flames close in. The woman is going to burn to death. Gene puts his leg against the seat for leverage and pulls the strap with everything he has. His broken rib causes shooting pain, but he keeps pulling. Rip! The belt finally tears away. Gene grabs the woman by the arm and pulls her forward as fire overtakes the area. They both jump to safety.
That's incredible. Just incredible.
Well, our troubles were just starting.
Oh,
Bedouins.
Bedouins.
Desert people.
Exterior, plane crash site. Day. Hours have passed. The plane is just a smoking shell of metal. The 19 battered survivors sit in the shade provided by it, drinking water out of emergency canteens. Younger Gene is tying a torn piece of cloth around someone's bloody leg when bam, bam! Gunshots pepper the plane. The passengers scream, duck. Younger Gene turns, scanning over the dunes to find Bedouins. A few of them, 5 more? Hard to say. They pop up from over the horizon, then duck back down.
They saw the crash, and they came to kill us and plunder our corpses. Now, I had army training from the war, and the chief purser was a Navy man, but the rest were civilians and women.
The Bedouins take scattered, intentionally wide warning shots as he approaches, but he takes a deep breath, slows his pace, and continues walking.
No fighting us.
Gene gets all the way to them. They shout, posture. Gene keeps his hands up, bowing slightly. Let's all be calm here. Eileen has heard this story a million times, and it shows in her eyes. With a hand motion to a nearby waiter, she orders another drink. Gene doesn't notice her do it. Neither do Ed and Zelda.
I made a deal with them.
What kind of deal?
They could plunder the plane, and the people who died as long as they let us live. Now, I don't speak Arabic, of course, so I had to communicate all this with gestures.
That's just awful.
After they left, I could see to getting us rescued.
Exterior, plane crash. Younger Gene prepares to leave the survivors and walk through the desert, tying on a headband, strapping on a canteen, and surveying compass points.
I knew if the Syrian army heard our distress call, they would have sent help by this point. So I hiked through the desert.
Exterior, Mayadeen, small town in Syria, day. Dehydrated and weak, younger Gene stumbles into this desolate desert town and immediately heads to a payphone.
I called Pan Am HQ back in New York. Collect. Now, at first, they weren't going to accept the charges. But I told them I fell out of the sky in one of their airplanes. Least they could do was pick up the tab. Eventually, they sent help, and I came back to the States to hang up my wings. I made damn sure that Pan Am coughed up hazard pay first, though. Just enough for me to set up a new life. So, now, here we are. In Hollywood.
Smash 2. Interior, Ed and Zelda Grayson's home, bedroom, night. The couple gets ready for bed, changing into pajamas.
Was any of that real?
I mean, was he in a plane crash? Yeah, probably. Did it happen the way he said? I doubt it.
Was quite a story.
He wouldn't lie about being in a crash, Zell. It's just too easy to look up.
He's riveting, I'll give you that, but not sure I buy it. And the wife, was she shy or just really reserved?
Both, probably.
She contributed very little to the conversation.
If you were married to him, you'd let him do most of the talking, too. Too bad he can't write as well as he tells a story.
That's why he asked us to dinner, isn't it?
He thinks I can get him a staff writing job.
Can you?
Even if I could, why would I? His last show was a disaster.
What show?
A canceled show. The only reason I accepted his dinner invitation is because Alden represents him.
Well, if Alden sees something in him.
He's a hard luck case who conned his way onto a couple of shows that didn't work. He's a souse and a daydreamer with an inability to work within the rules. Sure, he's a fun guy to share a drink, and trust me, this is the last we've heard of Gene Roddenberry.
Interior, a mansion, Beverly Hills, day. A 54-year-old woman sits on the edge of an expensive antique couch, upright and stilted, compulsively fidgeting with her dress, her orange-red hair, her nails. She lights a cigarette. This is Lucille Ball. Her lawyer and business manager, Oscar Rudin, sits across from her, hands ringing as he says his next words carefully.
Now, don't be nervous, Lucy.
Well, what kind of thing is that to say? Don't be nervous, Lucy. You're just as nervous as me. How'd you like it if I told you to stop it?
I guess I wouldn't like it.
Yes, so then you stop being nervous. And stop telling me to stop being nervous. And stop making me say the word nervous because it's only making me even more fucking nervous.
They're going to be here any minute now, so just calm down and...
Okay, calm down and watch what happens. The last man who told me to calm down is about to walk through that door. After I divorced him, I swore no man would tell me to calm down ever again. Calm down means do the opposite. Like a lion telling a gazelle, don't run.
Desi Arnaz is no lion.
Never met a cocktail waitress he wouldn't lie on. And he would lie to his own mother over dinner with Jesus just to get away with it. Not a lion, no, but a liar for sure.
You won't have to deal with him after today.
Everyone warned me. He could charm the needles off a pine tree, they said. But nothing out of that man's mouth is ever true. Didn't make a damn bit of difference. I fell in love with him in all of 5 minutes, and the only thing in the world better than looking at him was listening to him talk, even if none of that talk was ever real. God help me.
The doorbell rings. Oscar leaps up to answer it while Lucy closes her eyes, channeling Lucy the performer. Hold it together. Desi Arnaz, 47, the biggest presence in any room he enters, walks in with two of his lawyers. Oscar offers his hand to Desi, a handshake. Instead, Desi grabs him, hugs him, and says,
Amigo, are you the one who's fucking my wife?
That's how he says hello.
For the record, I'm just a lawyer and the business manager, Oscar Ruder.
Whatever you say, amigo. Well, what's this all about?
Lucy would like to take full control of the production company.
That's what you want? To take away my legacy?
Now, Desi, let's not be dramatic. This is a business decision, not a personal one.
I'm the one who built Desilu. I would burn the whole thing to the ground before I give it up.
Everything you build, you have to destroy, don't you? If you want to live your life that way, I'm done trying to stop you.
What I want is for greedy lawyers to stay away from my business, from my life.
Have you had this morning? And how many nights have you ended up in the ER, just you and a stomach pump? You put vodka in tomato soup, for fuck's sake. How are you supposed to run a business that way?
That's not the point.
When you took Desilu public, there was a clause in the joint agreement. Each of you would have a buy-sell option on the other stock.
Meaning?
Well, if one of you triggers the agreement, you have a week to decide if you want to sell your half of the shares or buy out the other person.
I can get that kind of money in 1 fucking week.
We'd rather not go that way, Desi. It's just very public. It's very messy. You look bad. We look bad. It would just be a lot easier if you were, well, if it was in your idea to just sell your Lucy, your shares.
Sign the papers, Desi, or so help me. I'll see you regret it.
Desi signs the papers, pained look on his face.
I only hope, Lucy, that you know what the hell you're doing. So there you go.
Goodbye, Desi.
Adios, Lucy.
He walks out with his lawyers. Once the door closes, Oscar and Lucy look at each other, beaming.
It worked!
You just became the first female president of a major Hollywood production.
Ever?
Ever.
Interior, house.
I know what people say, that Desi's the brains of the opera.
I don't know if that's what people would say.
This town is a boys' club, and you know it. Right out of the gate, I'm gonna need a show so good the networks will have to buy it. Otherwise, they won't ever take me seriously.
You need a new TV show.
I need someone I can trust to help me.
Oh, I'm your lawyer, not your producer.
So go hire me a producer, the best you can find, and you tell him to get me the hottest new show in town. There's just one rule. No husband-wife teams, no girlfriends, no mistresses, no hanky-panky. If the actress is stooping the producer, it ends. Well, it ends just like me and Desi.
Exterior, the Paramount lot. Security gate, 1964, day. Producer Herb Solo, 34, square and clean cut, drives up to the security guard window.
Herb Solo, the new producer for Desilu Studios.
In addition to his briefcase, he has a big, gaudy sunflower in a small pot sitting on the passenger seat. Interior, Paramount lot. Sound stages, day. Solo walks to his new office with stoic confidence, giving us a glimpse of a 60s studio in the midst of production. Rolling sets, showgirls in costumes, a smattering of cowboys and beach blanket bingo teens, a couple Roman soldiers. It's beautiful, grand. Solo carries his briefcase and the potted sunflower. Interior, Desilu hallway, Solo's office, day. Oscar escorts Solo down the hall to his new office.
We're very excited to have you on board. This one's all yours.
Oscar eyeballs the sunflower.
Gift from my kids. They know I work long hours and don't want me being lonely.
I'll give you time to get settled.
I'm settled.
Interior, Solo's office, day. Pitch number 1. Solo and Oscar listen to a nervous writer give his pitch for a show.
So in this show, we have a family of circus performers who solve mysteries in each town they go to with the help of an elephant who talks. It's Mr. Ed meets Dragnet with a touch of the greatest show on earth.
Solo clears his throat. This is the worst idea he's ever heard. Interior, Solo's office, day. Pitch number 2. Now we have 2 identical twin writers in matching cardigans pitching their idea.
Lassie is a dog.
Flipper is a dolphin.
But what animal haven't we seen a show about yet?
A mountain lion.
It's the Old West. A family of pioneering farmers lives along the rolling hills of Centertown, Wyoming. A young Billy befriends a cougar cub that grows into a mighty adult.
Interior, Solo's office, day. Pitch number 3. Another pitch is in progress, this one from a slick writer in a sharp suit with a shark's predatory smile.
Who watches television more than anyone? The ladies. And what do the ladies want? Romance. Which is why I give you the Love Doctor. Dr. Simon Love is a general practitioner in the bucolic town of Santa Barbara. He's got a healer's touch, a gift for helping desperate single women find what they want and need most. A man.
Interior, Solo's office, later day.
Can you make any of these ideas work?
What do you think?
I didn't know it was this hard. Finding an idea for a TV show.
Great ideas don't just fall out of the sky, Oscar. You need creative geniuses to dream them up.
So get some geniuses.
The agents aren't sending them. They're sending bottom-barrel typewriter jockeys and hustlers looking to take us for a ride.
Because of me.
Both men straighten with attention.
If the agents don't want their superstar writers to have a woman for a boss, then you'll just have to find the one writer no one knows is a superstar yet.
Interior, Ashley Steiner Talent Agency, day. Gene sits wide-eyed and nervous, waiting while secretaries flutter around taking calls, writing notes and typing dictations. He's been sitting here for quite some time, dressed in a well-worn polo shirt and tattered khakis. Literary agent Alden Schwimmer, 40s, strides confidently through the door, all-power suit and crotchmar briefcase. His lead secretary jumps to attention, phone message slips in hand. They start a walk and talk as Alden pages through the messages.
Mr. Belko needs you to call him. He says it's urgent.
When isn't it urgent with him?
There was only the once. Also, you have lunch with Mr. Serling.
Today?
Reservation is 1 o'clock.
At the Derby? I'll have to leave.
You should have left already.
Alden?
I told you not to come in here. You don't have an appointment.
It's okay. What can I do for you, Gene? Make it quick, though.
Did you hear anything from Ed Grayson?
Oh, that's right. I sent you to meet him for dinner.
Now, his wife liked me, that I'm sure of. I thought he might hire me to write for his show.
He thanked me for introducing you, but he left it there.
Gene is crushed.
I just want to get back to work, Alden. I mean, how many of these phony dinners do I have to sit through?
You know how this town works.
Yeah, but I have experience. I mean, these guys should be coming to me, not the other way around.
If it makes you feel any better, I believe in you. Otherwise, I wouldn't represent you.
I appreciate that, really. So don't take this the wrong way, but I need work, not encouragement.
So then maybe go create your own show instead of trying to get staffed on someone else's. Oh, just no cop shows. Those are dead. Oh, and no westerns either. Maybe try an action-adventure thing, like Tarzan, but not Tarzan. Or a war story. You have first-hand experience. Mine it.
Alden then pushes past Gene, heading back out the door for lunch, patting him on the shoulder as he walks out, on his way to meet with significantly more important people. Exterior, Griffith Park, a picnic table, day. Gene sits at this picnic table with a pen and a brand new notepad. Sweat stains ring his armpits. He stares hard at the blank page. No ideas coming. He lights a cigarette, taking a thoughtful drag. Still, no ideas. Interior, a Hollywood lunch counter. Day. Gene sits with an iced tea and an egg salad sandwich, looking down at that empty notepad. Still nothing. The blankness of the page is there, judging him. Interior, exterior, the Cock and Bull, bar, night. Gene nurses a whiskey in this dingy locals bar. He's resigned to the fact that he has no ideas. But then there's a commotion around the bar. It's a small protest, some college kids carrying anti-Vietnam signs. They're fired up, angry, shouting.
Hell no, we won't go!
Hell no, we won't go!
Hell no, we won't go!
The lead college kid lights his draft card on fire with a Zippo.
Why should I fly 5,000 miles to fight a war that I don't believe in, huh? Fuck you and fuck your war.
Cops appear, blowing whistles. Billy clubs out. The protesters are frightened but hold their ground, continuing to chant.
Hell no, we won't go!
Hell no, we won't go!
Hell no, we won't go!
We supposed to take this shit serious? Kids today either come around to our side of things, or we start showing them what's what.
Gene looks at her, horrified at the sentiment. Interior, exterior, Roddenberry's home. First floor, day. Eileen Roddenberry stands at the kitchen sink, washing dishes. Out the window, she catches sight of the neighbors, a picture-perfect family of 4. Behind her, in the living room, daughters Dawn, 11, and Darlene, 15, bicker over a guitar.
Not like that, like this.
Mom! Don't be stupid. Me or her?
Gene ambles through the front door, groaning, bare arms weighed down by 2 oversized boxes piled with books.
All of you. What is
He awkwardly piles the boxes in front of his home office, which is a chaotic hovel of books and papers.
What is this?
Books, honey.
4 books.
Gene nods, holding out his hands. Of course. The girls don't care about this little parental drama. They're used to it. So Dawn grabs the guitar right out of her older sister's hands.
Hey!
I had it first.
You're gonna bust it!
Girls, quiet! What do I always say?
Noise over noise.
Gene, can you deal with this?
Darlene says I can't play the guitar. She just strums without touching the frets. She doesn't even know what a chord is.
So teach her.
She won't listen.
You listen to your sister. And you teach her how to play.
Okay, Dad.
Upstairs. Give your mom a break.
Your office is already spilling over into the entire house.
It's research.
For what?
Alden wants me to create my own show.
But you have to earn a living.
Don't worry about it. I'm onto something. I racked my brain all day yesterday for an idea. Some kind of action thing. And nothing came to me. But then I saw these college kids protesting.
Vietnam?
And it hit me. The problem they have with the war was like my problem creating a TV show. War isn't some party. It's not a football game. Rah, rah, rah. It's life and death. I know it because I've been through it. Those kids know it because they're smart. So I can't write some dumb show that pretends dangerous actions don't have big consequences. So then I thought about how I should write the first anti-war war show.
Oh, Jesus. How many of our friends are you going to alienate with your anti-war rants?
We'll get new friends.
I don't want new friends.
The point is that there's no way the networks will buy an anti-war war show. But it got me thinking. What if I set the show in a different time from the here and now? Then I could write about all those kinds of problems in today's world metaphorically. I could talk about what's real, complication, gray areas. I mean, forget about all the phony good guy, bad guy stuff. I could write something that actually matters.
Well, you know what actually matters? The laundry. And I have to go do it. When you don't have any clean underwear, you'll think that matters a lot.
He turns and walks out. Gene then steps into his office and closes the door, quietly turning a lock. He picks up his rotary phone and makes a call, speaking into the phone on the DL, barely above a whisper.
I miss you terribly. But I can't see you until I finish this pitch for Alden.
Interior, Studio 12, soundstage, hallway, dressing room, day. Solo and Oscar stand by in the back as Lucy wraps up a dress rehearsal for The Lucy Show. A busy gaggle of ADs, camera operators, lighting techs, script supervisors, and others confer, making adjustments. The set is a typical 1960s sitcom living room. Solo is enamored by Lucy, true admiration and respect, and when she catches his eye, she excuses herself from her crew, heading towards them.
Hello, boys.
A thin man in a dark suit with a worn, wan face also approaches. This is Lucy's brother, Fred Ball, late 40s, a duplicitous, sycophantic smile on the end of a sun-stoked stick.
This is my brother, Fred. Freddie, these two are my producers.
Fred Ball. Pleasure to meet you.
How is rehearsals going?
Our set keeps falling apart. Our director keeps falling apart even more than our set. And our guest star?
Ann Southern.
Yes, Ann Southern, who I know very well and is a very dear friend of mine. But that bitch keeps trying to steal every scene she's in. On top of all that, the script goes over about as well as a nun in a whorehouse. And we only have one day to fix it. So as far as how's it going, I'd say we're pretty much right where we always are. But enough about all that. What do you two have for me?
We're still trying to find you a show, Lucy.
I have a shareholders meeting. Now I have to go in there with nothing.
I know, but...
How do you think this'll look? I'll tell you how. It'll look like Desi was right about everything.
We're working day and night, Lucy. We'll find something soon, but we have to make sure it's the right thing. The first show has to be perfect.
You up to this, Herb?
Yes, ma'am.
You sure?
100%.
Interior, Desilu shareholders meeting, day. Arms wave for attention. Raised voices talk all at once. It's a full room that can only be described as raucous and chaotic. Lucy, Fred, Vice Presidents Edwin Hawley, 50s, Jerry Thorpe, 60s, and 3 other board members sit at a senatorial-style board table, nameplates before them. 75 angry shareholders clamor to be heard. Way in the back, Oscar and Solo watch, stunned.
Order! Order! Now, look, I understand many of you are upset.
Oh, you think, Ed? The stocks are tanking.
Now, look, we all acknowledge we can do a little better, okay? And yes, we've had a net loss for the year, but I promise
That's your
you,
money you're losing.
it's Lucy's first year as our president. Now, we owe her the benefit of the doubt, don't you think?
Oh, can Miss Ball really give the time necessary to the presidency when she's working full-time as an actress?
Well, I'm giving it. And frankly, was that a question you asked my ex-husband when he was president working as an actor full-time?
The whole thing descends into a more shouting and crosstalk that just becomes a wall of noise. Shareholder 3 shouts so much that he's practically foaming at the mouth, so Oscar gestures to a security guard to have him removed. Meanwhile, Fred Ball turns pale. He's never seen people stand up to his sister in public like this. It's scarring him as we watch. Ed Hawley just puts his head in his hands. As the security guards start dragging out shareholder 3, Lucy stands up.
Leave him alone. It's okay. Let him stay. Listen, folks. This isn't war. It's the TV business. We're gonna right this ship and make up for everything. See those 2 gentlemen in the back of the room? They are the best producers in the business, and they're looking for a new TV show that will put Desilu right back on top.
Exterior, Ashley Steiner Talent Agency, day. Alden is walking out of the building on his way to another lunch. Gene, looking like he hasn't slept much, intercepts him.
Alden!
We don't have a meeting, do we?
No, but I needed to see you right away.
Great.
I have an idea.
On my way.
I'll walk with you. It's the 19th century. There's a sailing ship, and on this ship, there are all these people of different races. And they go from place to place each week, places that no one's discovered yet. It's Horatio Hornblower with a contemporary socio-political edge. An adventure show, yes. An exploration show. Yes, but it's saying something about the current state of the world.
I'm going to stop you right there, Gene. It's a tough sell. Not only does it sound expensive, it also sounds controversial.
They pass a TV that's broadcasting a report on NASA's launch of the Saturn rocket.
Look at that. They keep this up and we'll send a man to the moon by 1970. You see that, Gene? That's the story you should be telling. Give the audience the future, not the past. Write me a science fiction show. That'll be something I can sell.
Interior, Gene's meager home office. That night, Gene sits over a blank page in his typewriter, hold for a long moment as thoughts start to come together in his mind. His synapses firing, inspiration beginning to coalesce. Suddenly, with a burst of passion, he turns the knob to the middle of the page and types the words, Star Trek, by Gene Roddenberry. He threads a new clean sheet into the typewriter and begins banging keys like a madman. Interior, Solo's office, day. Solo's on the phone, completely exasperated with Alden Schwimmer.
There's something that for the life of me I don't understand. Lucille Ball co-created and starred in the most successful show in TV history. 50 million people tuned in each week. You know how many people that is? Cities across the country saw water use drop during the half-hour I Love Lucy was on the air. People wouldn't get up to use the John because they were watching her. And yet, no show creators want to work with her now. Why? Explain it to me, Alden.
Meanwhile, in the waiting area, Gene is waiting for Alden again, but he's been here so long, he's fallen asleep.
I'm at my wit's end here. Send me a writer.
Alden looks out into the lobby at a sleeping Gene Roddenberry. Interior Solo's office, day. Gene enters, awkward, desperate, flaming hand held out to shake.
I'm Gene Roddenberry.
Have a seat.
Now, before I get started, I want to say something. We should do things differently.
Differently?
Vietnam, civil rights, the space race, the Kennedy assassination. We are living in an era of upheaval and change, and it's about time television caught up.
How do we do that?
By telling stories that actually address what's going on instead of pretending everything is like it was.
So, you're not here to sell me some dumb TV show.
Alden can send someone else if that's what you want.
What have you got?
Think of it as a wagon train to the stars. It's called Star Trek. It's an interplanetary spaceship, the USS Yorktown. Now, the captain is strong, but burdened. He's half Horatio Hornblower, the other half Hamlet. The audience won't be able to decide if he's a hero or a poet. And there's a first officer named Mr. Spock, and he's Martian. And he's got red skin and pointy ears, and he ingests food directly into his stomach. And even though it's sci-fi, it'll have stories with characterization and motivation, tackling topics like love, war, nature, God, death, race, morality.
Let's just say I'm interested.
Are you?
Hypothetically. Can you really pull this off?
Yes. And not just hypothetically.
He's a very exciting writer. Very exciting. Someone who wants to do big things.
A bold new voice.
So how long till we sell the show?
I made an appointment with Roddenberry to pitch CBS.
What?
He's meeting with James Aubrey directly.
Oscar, I wish you told me that beforehand. Roddenberry is talented, but he's still a little rough around the edges. We need to develop things a little more before taking it to the president of CBS.
He'll be fine, Herb. James Aubrey will want to keep Desilu in the CBS family. This is practically a slam dunk.
Gentlemen, just get me a show on the air.
Interior, CBS Executive Office, pitch meeting, day. Gene is in the midst of pitching CBS President James Aubrey, 47, a man renowned as the Smiling Cobra.
And the USS Yorktown will be a character unto herself, operated by a crew using actual naval terminology to give audiences something familiar. Something real.
Aubrey isn't having it. Gene's stilted, stiff, bombing, but desperately plowing forward regardless.
The bridge will be spacious and inviting, a set that will become as recognizable as the Cramden's kitchen, Andy Taylor's living room, or the Cartwright's Ponderosa.
Gene pauses to gauge reaction. Aubrey hates it.
The galaxy is limitless, so there's limitless story potential.
Well, I do need a kiddie show, but I'm sorry, this just isn't the kiddie show I'm looking for.
Star Trek isn't a kiddie show.
I'm sorry?
It's science fiction for adults.
There isn't an audience for that.
If you tell stories that matter, everyone will relate to them. Young or old, won't matter.
Look, go back and tell the people at Desilu that we need something to pair with a castaway comedy we're developing. It's called Gilligan's Island. And it's simple, fun, easy for the audience to understand. That's the kind of program we're looking for.
Not every show has to be pointed at the dumbest person in the living room.
You obviously don't know anything about making a successful television show. And honestly, I'm a little shocked. Doesn't Desilu make comedies, family programs? Why are you bringing me some complicated, overly serious space thing?
It's complex, not complicated. There's a difference.
I don't think there is. And on top of that, you want to shoot it in full color. For what purpose?
Alien worlds need to look alien. Color is the only way to do that.
Do you know how expensive that is? I mean, you understand how crazy this all sounds, right?
The world is crazy. Maybe it's time for TV to catch up.
If Lucy wants to bring me a comedy, my door is always open. But this, I'm not interested.
Gene nods, backs away. He opens the door to the office and leaves as the two identical twin writers who pitch Solo start walking into the office, smiling.
Ah, here we go. Two fellas who actually know how to write. What have you got for me now, boys?
Interior, Gene's home office, night. Gene reels from bombing the CBS pitch, drink and a cigarette in hand. Don and Darlene enter.
What are you doing, Dad?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the problem.
What problem?
Your old man can't land himself a gig.
So then, what's gonna happen to us?
Oh, we'll be fine. Don't worry.
Girls, bedtime. You ever think about maybe going back to the police force? I saw Linda at the PTA and it would just be for a little while. Until things pick up.
Absolutely not.
Well, what are you going to do? Pay our bills with your aspirations?
I will pay our bills with the money I get when I sell my show.
And when is that?
I don't know.
Will you just think about it?
I just did, and I decided no.
You don't know what you're doing. God help us.
She walks out. He picks up the phone, dialing.
Hey, it's me. I need to see you.
Interior, Majel's Hollywood bungalow, night. Gene pulls up to this adobe duplex. He gets out, carrying a bottle of whiskey and a bouquet of flowers. He knocks on the door. A comely woman with spunk and sass of a young Lauren Bacall answers. Her name is Majel Barrett. Gene holds out the whiskey bottle.
You owe me more than a drink.
He holds out the flowers.
You owe me more than flowers. You made me a promise.
I'll get you a part. Don't worry. When my show sells, you'll be the first one I cast.
I was talking about the promise to leave your wife, but I'll take the part.
Eileen doesn't know about us, babe. I'm gonna have to break it to her slow. Now is not the time.
She doesn't love you. You said that. And do you really think she'll fit in at Hollywood parties?
When the time is right, I'll leave her and marry you. For right now, have a drink. Take the flowers.
She smirks. He is rakishly charming. They kiss. In the midst of it, she puts her hand around the flowers, taking them from his hand. Gene and Eileen's bedroom, very late night. Gene stumbles in, drink in hand. Eileen is asleep, but rouses as he plops onto his side of the bed, trying to pull his pants off without spilling his drink.
Where were you?
Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
He lays in bed, looking out the window, thinking about how badly he bombed his pitch.
Your Aubrey pitch was a disaster.
Oh, my pitch was great. Aubrey was a disaster.
Gene, he's president of the network.
Well, he's bad at it.
Of course he's bad at it. They're all bad at it. But they're the ones who decide if we work or if we pack up and go home. Word's getting around town that the pitch bombed. We're in trouble.
Well, then I guess it's good I have people like you and Alden in my corner. Isn't that right, Herb?
Lucy wants to meet you.
What?
Lucille Ball, my boss, president of this company, wants to meet you.
Lucy wants to meet me? I love Lucy.
Unsolicited advice. Don't fucking say that. In fact, don't say anything unless you're asked a question directly. Actually, don't say anything then either. You can just nod politely, can't you? Don't do that either. Just...
What?
Tell her why. Why this show, why now, and why you're the one to do it. Tell her about Star Trek.
Interior, a mansion, Beverly Hills, day. Gene sits, waiting nervously with Solo as Oscar escorts Lucy in. The Queen has arrived and the sitting men stand on best behavior.
Lucy, this is Gene Roddenberry.
An honor to meet you, ma'am.
Please sit. Can I ask you something, Mr. Roddenberry? How old are you?
I'm not sure why that's...
Mr. Rudin and Mr. Solo led me to believe you were a fresh, young writer. A bold new voice, I think is what they said.
Let me just say that Gene here is very bright and...
I pay you to talk, Oscar, but there are days when I pay you to sit down and shut up. Today is one of those days. Would you say you're a young man, Mr. Roddenberry?
I feel like I have more in common with the younger generation. They inspire me, so I'd rather write for them.
Your pitch to Mr. Aubrey didn't go well.
Could have gone better.
There are only 3 networks. Since one of them just passed, I have to decide whether to send you out to the other 2.
Aubrey just didn't get it.
That may be. But if my company can't sell its first show under my leadership, it'll be twice as hard to sell the second and the third. After that, if there's a fourth, it'll be 3 times as hard. I don't guess there will be a company left past that point trying to sell a 5th. Do you see my predicament?
Yes, ma'am.
Just because I'm funny doesn't mean I can be a joke. So, let me ask you, are you a joke?
Everyone freezes.
Herb wanted me to come in here and tell you why this show. Why me? Why now? I came up with what I was going to say. But I didn't come up with a real answer until just right now. Star Trek is science fiction.
Well, I'm not a fan of that.
Don't have to be.
It's not something I even think about. In fact, when I heard the name of the show, I thought it was about celebrities touring the South Seas on a USO tour. Star Trek.
Yes, there's bad science fiction, dystopian garbage about how miserable things are. But great sci-fi isn't about how bad the world is. The best sci-fi shows us what the world could be. You're a woman in charge who has to bend over backwards to be better than any man in your same position. It shouldn't be that way.
No, but we're dealt the cards and we have to play.
What I'm saying is that instead of just reflecting all the change in the world, maybe this show could be the change. Now think about it. A young girl watching Star Trek with her family, and she sees a female first officer, and she thinks, I could grow up and be that. Maybe a little boy watching the same thing grows to accept a woman in authority the same way he would another man. And same thing with commanders of different races. And maybe, just maybe, through our little science fiction show, we could wind up changing the world.
You think you can do that?
I think if we try and fail, at least we did it doing something worthwhile.
Lucy nods. Lucy looks at Gene, taking stock. Then she turns to Solo and nods. Gene and Solo walk out to their cars.
I don't know who to see first, my cardiologist or my bartender. Don't ever do that to me again.
Well, you know what they say, smooth seas make bad sailors.
I don't care what they say. I'm saying don't ever do that to me again.
I won't ever do it to you again. But for the record, it worked.
Barely.
Relax, man.
We have work to do. You can't just charm and swagger your way through a pitch to a TV network.
Interior, Solo's office, day. Gene practices his pitch in front of Solo, gaining more confidence, speaking slower and more forceful.
The Yorktown will be a real military ship. That means no families or kids on board, no Lassie-type characters or cuddly sidekicks.
Maybe instead of the Yorktown, we call it something more about the spirit of the show, like the Discovery or Explorer.
No, let's call it the Enterprise.
Later that day, Gene continues to practice his pitch.
The open format will allow for lots of different story types, but we'll always go for relatable scenarios.
Right.
Now, the most popular sci-fi classics are in the practical category. Tales of methane atmospheres and six-headed monsters rarely get popular.
Better. Much better.
The show isn't complicated. Hell, it's just another horse opera, except they ride a spaceship instead of a nag. Sure, it uses science jargon, but cop shows use cop jargon. What's the difference?
Solo smiles. Gene is ready. NBC executives Grant Tinker and Jerry Stanley sit in a room with Solo and Gene, who is just wrapping up the pitch we heard him start in the previous scene.
Star Trek is about the future, but the storytelling will be timeless.
Let's just get right down to it, shall we? Is there enough of an audience to support a mix of sci-fi and fantasy like this?
Yes. Families will watch, guys.
But it sounds so cerebral. Please don't watch cerebral.
Look, Dad will love the intellectual sci-fi stuff, okay? Mom will love the romance. And Junior will get a kick out of the adventure swashbuckling parts.
Let me and Grant talk about it and we'll call you.
There comes a time when you have to gamble on something that's worth the gamble. Okay? Yes, Star Trek is a gamble, but it's worth taking. It's a gamble for Desilu. It's a gamble for Lucy. And it's a gamble for me. But at least we're trying to do something that matters. I am not leaving this room until you give us a script order.
You're serious?
He's not serious.
I am serious.
In that case, what do you want for dinner?
Whatever you're having.
And a noose.
You're gonna be a real pain in the ass about this, aren't you?
Does that mean we have a deal?
Call business affairs.
Congratulations, Roddenberry. You talked everyone into this crazy thing. Now, let's see if you can actually pull it off.
Gene's Desilu office, day. This is Gene's new office. He's sitting across from a gangly art director named Matt Jeffries, 43, whose eyes look huge, magnified by thick horn-rimmed eyeglasses.
I want the Enterprise to look like a big World War II flying boat.
Gene meets with costume designer William Werthies. Solo sits off to the side.
Now, give me costumes that are different from anything else on TV. Oh, and do it cheap, just really cheap. Oh, and show as much leg, breast, and skin as possible.
Back to Gene's Desilu office.
And no wings, because there's no air in space. And no phony rockets either. Faster than light engines, okay? Now, you'll have to figure out what that looks like because it doesn't exist yet.
No. You can't show any legs, no breasts. Skin to a minimum.
You're right, Herb. You're totally right.
This is a family program, Gene, for fuck's sake.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interior, Paramount Makeup Shop, day. Gene and Solo talk to makeup man Fred Phillip, who's surrounded by lots of monster masks and prosthetics.
Now, when we have aliens, they need to look truly alien. And when we have gorgeous women, they need to look truly gorgeous.
So then about this Spock character.
Make him look like the devil.
Are you serious?
Like Satan himself, Fred.
Interior, a Paramount soundstage. Gene stands in this empty soundstage with a bunch of assorted crew people, Matt Jeffries and Herb Solo among them.
The captain's chair should be here, and everyone else should be stationed around him. Science and communication over here, and the helm down there.
You can't make him look like Satan, Gene. Christians will flip out and write letters.
Okay. Just make him look a little bit like Satan. I mean, no red skin or anything, but pointed ears, with skin that's a strange alien hue. It's like he's half human, half demon.
Interior, Gene's meager home office, very late night. Gene's typing away in the middle of the night, banging keys, a passionate flurry of inspiration.
Exterior, outer space. Not our familiar canopy of twinkling pinpoints, but coagulations of distant galaxies and nebulae.
Interior, Star Trek production office, day. On a long work table, Gene looks over Enterprise concept sketches by Matt Jeffries, a few different kinds. He's drawn to a catamaran-style design, but he turns it upside down. Then he pieces a separate saucer concept with it. Matt, Solo, and assorted crew gather around, notepads in hand.
Then, at a speed calculated to astound us, a tiny speck of brilliance grows into a spaceship flashing across our screen. 190,000 gross tons. A crew of 203.
Interior, the Anderson Company's miniature stage, day. Lights are everywhere, pointed in one direction, towards a blue screen at the far end of this vast studio. Power wires and extension cords snake out in every direction. There's a great deal of chaos as technicians and crew members move every which way. Gene wanders through it, catching small glimpses of structure hanging, ready to be photographed. He doesn't see the whole thing, however, until one by one crew members begin to part when they see him, nodding. They know who he is and stand out of the way. The boss is here.
And as the camera zooms in on it, we see tiny lettering. NCC 1701.
Once the way is cleared, there it is. The final, finished, 14-foot version of the Enterprise model. It is complete and revealed to Roddenberry for the very first time. It's glorious.
The USS Enterprise.
Interior, Star Trek stage, Enterprise bridge, day. Gene sits for a network promo portrait. He holds a script in his hand. As the photographer takes a light meter reading, we hear,
How's Roddenberry doing?
Gene is beaming, so happy. The NBC photographer snaps the photo, the screen freezing. Underneath it, printed in crayon, Gene Roddenberry, creator. Interior, Studio 12, dressing room, day.
And don't bullshit me because I'll know.
Things are going well, Lucy. Very well.
Lucy eyeballs Herb. Hard. Is this true?
Half the crew thinks Gene's batshit crazy.
And the other half?
The other half calls him the great bird of the galaxy. They believe in what we're doing. They believe in the show, and they believe in him.
What about you, Mr. Solo? What do you believe?
Interior, Gene's Desilu office, day. In quick succession, we intercut between a series of snappy, talking head-style job interviews that Gene conducts. DC Fontana interview. Dorothy, DC Fontana, 25, spunky with a highly intelligent demeanor, sits before us.
Sure, I know this is just a secretary job, making the coffee, typing up pages and so forth. But, well, sir, I really want to be a professional writer myself someday.
DGA trainee Charles Washburn, 26, African-American, thoughtful and reserved, sits before us.
I know this show will be a tough shoot. Not only can I handle that, I really respect what it is you're trying to do here.
I sold story ideas to some programs already. When I submitted my ideas under the name Dorothy Fontana, they came back unopened. But when I started submitting under my initials, DC Fontana, I began selling things.
I've been a Directors Guild trainee on a few shows. I've been ready to step up to assistant director for some time now, but not everybody was willing to take a chance on someone like me.
I know the television writers' world is a boys' club, but it's about time women had the exact same opportunities that men do. After all, it's women who advertisers most covered. And who best to understand how to get the attention of women than a woman?
Gene sits with actor Leonard Nimoy, 33.
Do I have to wear the devil ears? I don't want to go down as a guy who can only play freak parts.
In very quick succession, Gene offers his hand to shake with DC Fontana.
You start tomorrow.
Gene offers his hand to Charles Washburn.
Welcome aboard, Charles.
Gene pats Leonard Nimoy on the back.
Leonard, you're my Spock.
Nimoy isn't sure what to make of that. Interior, Don and Darlene's bedroom, later. Gene, done working for the night, pops his head in his daughter's room. They're both asleep and he adjusts their blankets, lovingly pats them on the head, and turns out the lights. Interior, Gene and Eileen's bedroom, moments later. Gene looks in on his wife, who's passed out with the bedside light on, an open copy of Valley of the Dolls in her arms. Gene closes the book for her, setting it aside, turning off the light. He walks out, perfunctorily. No emotion or warmth in the gestures, detached, hardly interested. Gene heads downstairs, grabs his coat, preparing to leave. He's almost out of the door when he returns to grab a bottle of whiskey with a rugged swipe. Exterior, Majel's Hollywood bungalow, night. Gene, tired, knocks on Majel's door holding the whiskey bottle. She answers, annoyed but relents. Okay, come in. He enters, delighted. Interior, exterior, Culver Studios, pilot shoot, day. Gene, in a sharp suit, does a walk and talk with Solo and a dutiful DC Fontana, who has her notebook at the ready. Gene is in his element, though, oozing swagger. Day players study their scripts, coffee cups in hand. Grips wheel 10Ks, scenic artists foist alien backdrops, a Tolosian extra in sunglasses smokes a cigar.
You just can't do it, Gene.
I think we can, Herb.
A tray of Spock ears passes in the hands of a PA and Gene stops them, inspecting.
NBC isn't having it. Lucy definitely won't like it. She said, under no circumstances were there to be any wives or girlfriends acting in any parts. And now you want to make your mistress the star.
Look, Majel's in the show. End of story.
We need to have a conversation about it first.
Isn't that what we just did?
Gene's eyes wander to a female yeoman extra in a Starfleet uniform and high black boots. He smirks. Nice curves.
I mean, a real conversation. You can't just, there's no way you
Line producer Robert Justman approaches, holding a clipboard full of new budget pages.
We're over budget.
We haven't even started shooting yet.
Well, you see all this stuff around us? Stuff costs money.
Let me see that. Holy shit. Dear God, holy shit.
Yeah, a little over, that's one thing. This is a goddamn blowout. I mean, the bridge alone is now the most expensive spaceship set in Hollywood history. So, congratulations, I guess?
Cut shooting days.
Ow.
How? I don't know and I don't care. Do it. Because if we don't, the Desilu board will sure as shit shut us down.
How many days are we talking?
Shoot the whole thing in 11 days.
Fuck you, 11. And on the 12th day, we'll do a remake of Spartacus.
A precocious production assistant intercepts them.
Mr. Roddenberry,
What is it, Beanie?
Mr. Phillips sent me to find you right away. Apparently, no one's ever painted a girl green before.
Where is he?
Oliver's trailer with the doctor.
The doctor.
Oliver passed out, sir.
Out?
Out.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Exactly, sir. Mr. Snyder was doing a camera test, and the green makeup didn't look so good. So he told Mr. Phillips, keep putting it on. And it still didn't look right. So then they put it all on, sir.
All?
All the green makeup they could find, sir. 2 shells worth.
Where's the line item for green makeup?
And it was so much that Oliver got dizzy and, well, fainted, sir.
Shit. Who would have known?
No one, I guess. Funny part is, Camelot didn't know the girl was supposed to be green. They thought something was wrong with the film, and they kept color correcting to make it look more human. Hadn't they known, well, Oliver probably wouldn't have fallen down.
Does the girl have to be green?
Does the show have to be in space? Does everybody have to wear clothes? Why don't we just make the whole thing about a bunch of undersexed nuns on the loose in the big city? Yes, she has to be fucking green.
Give me a real answer why.
Tell him.
The green-skinned alien female is so removed from normal human experience that she becomes a walking, breathing symbol of the viewer's unconscious desires. The exotic other who is simultaneously demonized and worshipped, feared but adored, depersonalized but sexually admired.
Guys will want to do things with a green chick they'd never dream of doing with a corn-fed white girl next door.
By this point, they've arrived to Susan Oliver's trailer. Gene walks up the steps and opens the door. Inside is a very green, barely conscious, but still beautiful Susan Oliver.
Susan, how's my star actress?
Before Gene heads further into the trailer to deal with this mess, he turns to Solo.
Majel's on the show, period. I'll handle NBC, I'll handle Lucy. That a girl, you are looking better already.
Interior, swanky lounge, Prince Hotel, night. Gene's holding court, drink in hand.
No, I called Pan Am HQ back in New York. Collect. At first they weren't going to accept the charges, but I said, hey, I just fell out of the sky in one of your airplanes. Pay for the damn call. So they did. After that, I hung up my wings for good and moved to Hollywood.
It's quite a story. So tell me, Mr. Roddenberry, who's the actress you want to cast?
Name's Majel Barrett.
Do I know her?
Not yet, no, but she's going to be a big star. Trust me.
You're sure she's the best woman for the part?
I'm absolutely sure.
Well, okay then. I'll let NBC know that we want to stand behind her.
You won't regret it.
Now that we have that settled, we'll let you gentlemen get back to work. Freddie, grab my coat.
Fred stands up to retrieve her coat as a starstruck young woman, 20s, approaches them, shaking.
Ms. Ball, I just wanted to say you're a big inspiration to me. I was just wondering, could I have your autograph?
As she steps away to interact with the young woman, Gene leans into Solo.
Told you I'd handle it.
But then both men get a look at Lucy interacting with the starstruck woman. There's a reason she's a star, and they can both see it.
All right, guys, we really need to talk about this budget.
Justman reaches under the table and plops file folders down, one for each of them. Oscar fishes out bifocals, gets a look at the numbers, and starts coughing, face turning red. Justman has to pat him on the back. Solo gets up and excuses himself.
I'll be right back.
He walks to a payphone in the back of the place, near the men's room. He pops a dime in the slot, dials, and says,
Herb Solo for Grand Tinker.
Herb, how's it going?
Major Barrett could be a problem.
Interior, Gene's Desilu office, late night. Gene's back at the office, tie undone. He pours a drink, then threads a clean page into his typewriter, gathering thoughts and energy. He holds his hands above the keys, exhausted, spent. A long beat as he waits for inspirational to congeal. Angel appears in the doorway.
Hey, Sailor.
Not now, babe. Herb's making me rewrite everything on the fly. Goddamn budget cuts.
Now, don't act like you aren't loving every single second of this. Like this isn't everything you ever wanted.
How do you know what I want?
I just do, Captain.
They kiss, passionate, suddenly awake and energized. Later.
You're really typing up a storm. Keep it up, and maybe I'll let you go again.
Interior, Stage 16, Enterprise Bridge, Desilu Culver, day. Jeffrey Hunter is in the command chair, playing Captain Christopher Pike on a fully staffed Enterprise bridge. Helmsman Tyler and Majel as number 1 sit at navigation. Nimoy as Spock steps forward, the opening to the pilot episode of The Cage playing out before our eyes as the film crew struggles to capture it. A nervous Gene paces in the back with DC Fontana at his side.
Check the circuit.
All operating, sir.
Come, feed the screen. Definitely something out there, Captain.
Could be these meteoroids.
No, it's something else.
White goo plops onto Majel's shoulder.
What the hell is going on here?
Oh.
Birds.
Angle on, the studio rafters. They're lined with hundreds of loud, cooing pigeons.
No clean sound. All I hear is birds.
The director, at a loss, turns to Gene.
Open the doors. Just everybody grab a broom.
The massive soundstage doors are opened. Cast and crew stand on ladders, chairs, apple boxes, and anything else they can find, hilariously swatting in the direction of the rafters, doing anything they can to shoo away the birds. In our foreground, 2 blue-collar crew members, veterans from backlot westerns, roll their own cigarettes and light them, oblivious to what's going on behind them.
See that pixie fella with the rabbit ears?
Yep.
What do you make of that?
I don't know what crazy Gene is up to, but it sure as hell don't make a lick of sense.
No, I sure don't.
I mean, this is where they shot Atlanta Burning and Gone with the Wind.
Now, no kidding. Now that was a picture. Whatever they're doing now, well, it's definitely not that.
Well, it's an embarrassment is what it is.
Boy, you said it.
The broom swats have agitated the rafter birds, and they're fluttering all over the crew, the bridge, the whole studio.
What the hell is going on down there?
Interior, the Desilu boardroom, day. Solo sits in front of the board, which includes Lucy, her brother Fred, Ed Hawley, and the others. An intense meeting is in progress. We're catching a juicy piece of it.
Now, if I'm looking at this right, we're already over budget by almost 40%.
Solo and Oscar look like defendants accused of capital crime. Interior, Stage 16, Enterprise Bridge, Desilu Culver, day. Jeff Hunter as Pike, stands with Nimoy as Spock, and Majel as number 1.
These are budget overages NBC won't pay. We'll have to cover them.
Our records show that the telescope has never been explored. It's a binary sun with 11 planets. Number 4 could have an oxygen atmosphere.
Then they could still be alive.
If they survived the crash.
Interior, Gene's Desilu office, late night. Gene, back at his typewriter, more exhausted than ever, trying to get the energy to revise more pages while Majel lays on the couch, painting her nails.
We stand to lose at least $65,000 an episode if this show goes to series. The stock prices will take another hit if this gets out.
Edwin Hawley bringing down the hammer.
If this pilot goes to series, how can we afford it?
We're working out the kinks.
The kinks. 40% over budget is a lot more than a few kinks.
Do you all mind if we take a short break? I need to powder my nose.
Of course.
She walks out. Interior, Desilu ladies' room, day. Interior, Gene's Desilu office, night.
Your revisions are making the problem worse.
But I'm making the show better. That's what matters.
If the Desilu board shuts us down because you keep spending money, I think that'll matter a lot more.
I don't care what it takes. We're doing this right.
You'd better start caring. You'd better.
Oh, fuck off, Herb.
The future of your show is on the line here. Your future. Tilting at windmills won't work every goddamn time, Gene.
Lucy has returned, much more together, and the board meeting has resumed.
Mr. Solo, I heard some rumors. Tell me, is Mr. Roddenberry sleeping with our star actress?
Gene's a family man. His wife is a homemaker. They have 2 daughters.
Family man? He's a crazy ex-cop who can't keep himself under control.
I understand your concerns, but I'm overseeing everything personally to keep us on track.
Interior, Desilu hallway later, day. Meeting is ended. Board members are in the process of dispersing. Oscar and Solo begin walking away when Lucy appears in the doorway, moving after them.
Wait, Oscar, I think it's time we had a talk. You know I appreciate everything you've done for me, but business being what it is, I need someone who's going to be able to keep control.
I'll try and do better.
But Oscar, I just think that I don't think that you do. However you want to handle this is up to you. If you want to hand me a letter of resignation, or you'd like me to formally let you go, I need to make a change.
Oscar's floored. She turns to Solo.
Now, it's your job to get Roddenberry back in line.
Interior, NBC Research Testing Preview House, day. This is a viewing theater of televisions and cubicles with testing dials. Seated in front of them is a line of serious old ladies being addressed by an NBC marketing manager in a suit.
Now, ladies, we're showing you one of our new programs. It's called Star Trek. It's a modern spaceship adventure. When you see something you like, turn the dial to the left. When you see something you don't like, turn it to the right. That information goes into our computing machine in the other room. Understand?
They nod as the pilot begins on the screens. Opening on the Enterprise bridge, the first scene we saw get shot.
Check the circuit.
All operating, sir.
Com, feed the screen then.
From the confused faces of the old ladies, we drift into the other room where a computer the size of a Mack truck begins recording their responses. Interior, NBC Research Testing Preview House, later. The old ladies get to a scene in the pilot that we didn't see filmed. Captain Pike sits on a pillowed floor in rich silk robes. Susan Oliver as Vina is in the front of him, painted green, portraying the Orion slave girl. She dances a burlesque as Pike watches, entranced to booming exotic music. The old ladies react with visible disgust. Their hands immediately twist the feedback knob to the dislike position. Interior, NBC conference room, day. Gene and Solo sit at a table with Grant Tinker, Jerry Stanley, and the president of NBC Programming, Moore Warner, 47.
Star Trek won't be on the full schedule.
Gene and Solo deflate.
But I have to say, I've seen many science fiction outer space films. I never felt like I was aboard a real spacecraft. I never believed the crew was a real crew. But in Star Trek, you gave me the feeling of total belief like I never had before.
So why don't you put it on the air?
Because as good as it is, it still isn't ready. Not yet. We want you to shoot another pilot. Calm down, gentlemen. It's all good news. We need changes.
Changes?
The story you chose was too complicated, too erotic, and some of the acting doesn't quite cut it.
Look, Jeff Hunter's a great captain, no doubt about that.
And he's a known star.
We're more likely to give you a series pickup with him on the show, but the rest of the cast, unknowns, who don't have the gravitas we need.
We want you to fire Michelle Barrett.
We also think you can do better with the ship's doctor and some of the members of the crew, the minorities and so forth. We applaud the attempt to a racial mix, but we want personality to shine through.
And for God's sake, no more scantily clad green girls doing bumps and grinds. That kind of thing won't make it to the air. We also need you to lose the Spock character.
What?
Our testing shows viewers don't respond to the character.
Spock is the heart of this show.
We think you can get by without him.
Having an alien on the crew lets the audience know that this is a science fiction universe, that they're seeing something new, something different.
Look, we agree with what you said during your pitch. Dads will identify with Pike. Moms and daughters will identify with the romantic female guest stars. Sons will identify with the junior members of the crew. And then who's going to identify with Mr. Spock?
Everyone. Every single person out there in that audience has felt like an outsider once in their lives. Spock represents that.
Look, if you want to develop the show with Spock in it, fine. But then we may not go forward with a series order if you do. You have a very big decision to make.
Interior, Majel's Hollywood bungalow, night. Gene pours 2 drinks, handing one over to Majel, who's reclined on the couch.
Their suits. They don't understand.
Of course they don't.
At least you understand. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one that does.
You better love me for it. So many of the other writers out there don't write real characters at all. It's just plot, plot, plot.
That's what's safe.
They're hacks searching for a story. You, on the other hand, you were born with story. It's in your bones. Like no one I've ever seen.
Thanks, babe.
I can't wait to see what you write for my character.
Yeah. About that. They're forcing me to change the format. I fought back hard, but they really pushed.
What are you saying?
They hate the female first officer. Babe, I'm sorry, but they are putting their foot down.
Was it my performance? Be honest.
It didn't have a thing to do with it. You're fantastic. It's them. They have a problem with women. Don't worry, honey. I'll find something else for you. I promise. It'll be a great part.
I already have a great part.
It'll be something even better.
Another promise.
Give it time, babe, please. Someday, somehow, everything will work out just like we want it to. I'll make sure of it.
He holds her as she cries onto his shoulder. Interior, round derby on Vine, day. Solo and Gene are here for lunch. Empty plates litter the table as they sip coffee.
We're keeping Spock.
You know, for once I agree with you.
Holy shit.
I'm surprised myself. But don't go getting used to it.
But even you get it. It isn't Star Trek without Spock.
Or Jeffrey Hunter. Don't forget about that.
Interior, exterior. Jeffrey Hunter's house. Day. Gene and Solo approach the ranch-style desert house with a folksy Western-style porch. Gene knocks on the screen door.
Jeff, you home?
Instead of Jeff, his pretty but serious wife, Sandy Bartlett, appears.
Is Jeff here? I'm Gene Roddenberry.
I know who you are, and I know why you're here. You want Jeffrey to be part of your TV program.
Yeah, if I could talk to him, that'd be great.
Who on earth does a second pilot?
Hopefully Jeff does.
Uh-huh. But I'm not sure this is the kind of show Jeffrey wants to do. It wouldn't be good for his career. Jeffrey Hunter is a movie star.
Just let me talk to your husband. Oh, Jeff? Talk to me, please.
Instead, he turns away, and Jeff's wife shuts the door. Interior, the Cock and Bull, night. Gene and Solo sit at the bar, a few drinks in.
We have no star, no number one. Our demonic aliens in serious trouble. No ship's doctor.
Wait, we'll do our show, okay? We'll do it our way. And if we do it exactly the way they want us to, then what's the point? They might as well do it themselves.
So, where are we on stories?
I've been working on Mud's Women idea.
Ah, the space pimp thing?
Yeah, there's also Omega Glory.
Okay.
And I have my buddy Sam Peoples writing one up. I told him to call it Where No Man Has Gone Before.
That is my goddamn title, not Gene's.
Interior, Sam Peoples' office, day. Western novelist and occasional bonanza writer Sam Peoples, 47, is annoyed and agitated talking to Solo.
Okay, but...
No, second, he has already rewritten too damn much of it, and he's like a monkey trying to fuck a football when it comes to that. Now listen, I told him since the pilot that it was too much of a fantasy and not enough science fiction for a science fiction...
Fine, but you have to...
Oh no, that those scripts need a little bit of characterization, huh? Where the fuck is that gonna come from?
Sam, just shut up for a second. NBC picked your idea to be the second pilot.
Well, I take it back. He's a genius, the best there is. When am I going to get my check?
Interior, audition stage, day. Roddenberry and Solo audition actors to be the new captain. First up,
Enterprise log, Captain James Kirk, commanding.
Second,
Oz log, Captain James Kirk, commanding.
Finally,
Enterprise log, Captain James T. Kirk, commanding. We are leaving behind the vast cloud of stars and planets which we call our galaxy. Behind us, Earth, Mars, Venus, even our sun, specks of dust. The question? What is out there in the black void beyond?
Gene and Solo both look at each other. I think we found our captain. Interior, Star Trek stage, Enterprise bridge, day. Gene is giving Lucy a set tour, just the two of them.
This is where it all happens.
No wonder it cost such a fortune.
Have a seat.
That's not necessary.
Come on, try it.
She sits. Interior, Star Trek stage, second pilot shoot, night. A rocky planet surface, the action finale of the second pilot. A fight to the death between Shatner's Kirk and Gary Lockwood's character, Gary Mitchell, is about to start. The character of Daner is between them.
Morals are for men, not gods.
A god, but still driven by human frailty. Do you like what you see?
Time to pray, Captain. Pray to me.
To you? Not to both of you?
Pray that you die easily.
Shatner takes a swing. The two men go tumbling, off balance, falling into a bunch of sand awkwardly.
Cut! Let's go again.
Hang on, there's sand on the dolly tracks.
Well, get it off.
Gene and Solo step up, grabbing brooms, sweeping frantically. Charles leans in.
Hey, we have to get every grain or the shot won't be smooth.
They all sweep, even more vigorously, but then someone else jumps in, getting in on the action. They look up. It's...
What do I have to do to get you all to finish?
Interior, NBC Research Testing Preview House. Later. The new pilot is being screened. Shatner and Gary Lockwood have their cinematic fight at the end of the episode. Close up on blue-haired ladied hands. One by one, they once again switch the dial to dislike. Interior, NBC Executive Office, day. Gene and Solo are meeting with Mort, Jerry Stanley, and Grant Tinker again.
Of course, it didn't test well. Your research subjects were just a bunch of old ladies. All I saw in that room was blue hair.
Interior, stage 12. Soundstage, day. Once again, Lucy is on stage wrapping up a rehearsal for an episode of her show. Solo gets her attention.
Let's take 15.
She walks over to Solo and we go to... Interior, Lucy's dressing room, stage 12, day. Solo has just pleaded with Lucy about something serious. We're coming in on her reaction.
You want me to do what now?
Call NBC. Ask them to do a new audience test. Except this time, ask them to do it at night when they can get husbands home from work and kids home from school. They're the true audience for our show.
Why should I be the one to do this?
Because you're the only one of us with any clout left.
Unseen until this point, Fred is in the corner of the room. He doesn't like where this is going.
But I've never made a call like this before.
That's why it will mean so much to them.
It'll mean they'll have something to hang on me later.
If you believe in what we're doing, if you believe in the show, this call could save us. Without it, I don't know that we have a shot.
What's Grant Tinker's number?
I'll dial.
And punches in the number he's memorized, while Freddy's jaw clenches in the corner. He's pissed. Interior, NBC research testing, night. Another test. This time, the cubicles are populated by boys, men, and young women. The same fight scene between Shatner and Gary Lockwood is shown, and they all respectively turn the knobs to the like side, one like after another. Interior, Majel's Hollywood bungalow, night. Gene has a drink in hand, listless. Majel, dressed in a silk nightgown, sees he's despondent and joins him on the couch.
No matter what happens, even if they don't pick up the show, you need to leave Eileen and make an honest woman out of me. Seriously. I mean it this time.
Okay.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Her phone rings. She picks it up quickly because they're expecting a call from Solo.
Hello? It's for you.
Yes?
We sold the show!
Exterior, Star Trek stage, May 24th, 1966, day. Gene, Shatner, Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, Nichelle Nichols, Grace Lee Whitney, James Doohan, and George Takei all stand in front of the studio, the first day of filming on the regular season. Gene holds up a champagne glass, toasting everybody.
We're about to embark on something very special. I'm glad you're all here to take this journey with me.
This is either going to be the biggest hit or the biggest miss that God ever made.
Watching this unfold from a studio golf cart, Lucy sits with Fred as her driver. Gene catches sight of her and holds up his champagne glass again.
To Lucy, we wouldn't be here without her.
She gives a polite but distant smile. Gene, oblivious, tries to call her over to take a picture with them. She waves him off, not interested. He persists, so she formally shuts him down.
This is your show, Mr. Roddenberry. I have no business taking pictures with you all. I'm just a fan.
She motions to Freddy for him to drive away. As they speed off across the lot, she says to him,
Pray for this show, for Desilu, for our stock price, and for me. God help us all.
Interior, Star Trek Writer's Room, day.
We have a lot of episodes to write and very little time, so just go with simple, dramatic stories. Don't waste time worrying about all the sci-fi futurism stuff, okay? Joe Friday doesn't stop to explain how his gun works when he pulls it out of his holster, right? So we aren't worrying about that shit either. Our stories revolve around one thing: the characters.
Smash 2, a montage of shots from the show intercut with Gene offering more insight about the show's writing. A heroic shot of the crew on the bridge dealing with a torpedo blast from a Romulan ship from the episode Balance of Terror.
Their humanity.
Baylock, the strange alien monster from the Corbomite maneuver, appears on the bridge view screen.
Yes, we'll have strange, exotic situations.
A A swashbuckling, shirtless Sulu runs through the Enterprise hallway brandishing an épée under the influence of a space contagion that makes him crazy.
But our characters need to feel like people we know.
Kirk and Spock with McCoy in the transporter room, standing over a deceased test animal.
He's dead, Jim.
Nimoy is Spock in Amok Time, giving the Vulcan salute, saying the infamous phrase,
"Live long and prosper."
People we love.
But then we take a hard smash to Interior, NBC Standards and Practices Office, day. A stiff, serious, sobering NBC censor, 50s, speaks into a dictaphone.
The latest Star Trek scripts need revision to be suitable for broadcast and to meet NBC standards. For instance, it is expressly forbidden to say pregnant on television. Please change to with child.
Back to a montage of more Star Trek shots. Kirk kisses the beautiful, scantily clad Andrea the android in order to scramble her programming.
Absolutely no open mouth kissing.
Kirk steps away from Andrea as her brain malfunctions.
Genitalia do not exist on television.
Kirk has a brutal fistfight with a Starfleet cadet named Finnegan in a ravine.
Do not reference them or have characters kick the groin during fistfights.
Kirk kicks Finnegan in the groin, but it cuts away right before the actual hit to appease the censor.
All fights must be brief as possible, minimizing violence.
Kirk fights the Gorn monster on desert planet Cestus 3.
Caution on makeup if used to keep the episode appropriate for the viewing public.
Interior, Star Trek production office, night.
That's not the point.
I started to tell her, I really did, but she's a fragile woman, Majel. And in case you didn't notice, I have a show to make here.
Don't call me. Not later tonight. Not ever. It's over.
Interior, Star Trek stage, sick bay, the next day. Majel is in a blonde wig playing Nurse Chapel. She's under the influence of a viral contagion that makes her lose her inhibitions. Nimoy, as Spock, is nearby. She puts her hand to his face and says,
I'm in love with you, Mr. Spock. You, the human Mr. Spock, the Vulcan Mr. Spock.
Way behind camera, Gene placates Solo.
NBC won't recognize her. She's got a wig. Those guys can't see straight. Seriously, they won't know. As long as I'm here, Majel's got a part in this show.
It's not NBC I'm worried about. If Lucy found out, she'd...
I'll tell Lucy all you suits have a problem with women in positions of power. How do you think she'd like that?
Interior, Gene's Desilu office, early evening. Gene walks young actress number 1 down the hall, heading towards his office. She's still in costume from the day's shoot.
You like to play around, don't you?
Play around?
Have some fun. You like fun, right?
He takes her by the hand into his office, leans in and kisses her as we intercut to Interior, Star Trek production office, day. Gene stops DC Fontana as she's walking down the hall, holding a bundle of scripts that need to be delivered to the crew.
There's something I need to talk to you about. I'm promoting you to story editor. I'm going to have you write an episode. I created this show to give deserving people a chance when no one else will. You deserve it more than anyone I know.
Interior, Gene's office at Desilu, night. Gene and young actress number 1. She's still in her red Star Trek skirt uniform as they begin kissing. She begins to squirm out of her costume.
Don't. Leave it on.
Later. She has her hands on the desk, moaning as Gene's behind her, pants down, vigorously having sex with her. Then, interior, Gene's home, bedroom, hallway, night. Gene is home to grab clothes and pack a bag.
I'm sleeping at the hotel next to the office.
When will you be home?
A few days. Week. I don't know.
Eileen fights back a tear as he walks out. Interior, Star Trek production office, night. Gene walks another girl, young actress number 2, down the hall.
Thought you might like to see where we write the show.
He opens the door, and the prop alien monster, Baylock, from the Corbomite maneuver, is right there.
You're such a jerk.
You should have seen your face.
He leans in and kisses her. Interior, Star Trek writer's room, day. Gene addresses the entire writing staff about something important.
There's never been an interracial kiss on television before. We're gonna do one. Between Kirk and Uhura. Yes, the suits are freaked out. Yes, some stations in the South will boycott. But fuck them. I created the show to break down walls. So that's what we're gonna do.
Interior, Star Trek production office, night. Gene walks a third actress to his office. This one is none other than Nichelle Nichols.
I thought we could spend some time together.
Time?
Just us.
To talk about my character?
Sure, or we could always
What?
not talk.
He kisses her in the hallway, pulling her into his office, kicking the door closed. Smash 2, a television news clip. Vietnam. Soldiers marching through the jungle, taking fire, with friendly air cover overhead, including a U.S. plane that crashes.
As heavy fighting in Vietnam continues, a U.S. Navy F-8 fighter was shot down in the area north of Da Nang.
Smash 2, another television clip. Chicago protest. Civil rights marchers versus violent counter-protesters. Framed by National Guardsmen.
A civil rights protest turned dangerous in Chicago and...
Smash 2, a Star Trek promo. A heroic shot of Shatner as Kirk. A heroic shot of Nimoy as Spock. An awe-inspiring shot of the Enterprise flying through space.
Zoom, the newest episodes of Star Trek rocket in on Thursdays here on NBC. Watch the adult space adventure everybody's talking about.
Interior, a middle-class mid-60s American home. Night. Family of 5 sits in front of the television as the Star Trek episode titled Man Trap is broadcast. 3 kids are mesmerized. Parents are perplexed. On the screen, Dee Kelly, as McCoy, is in sickbay explaining the death of a red shirt, Shatner. Kirk.
This fool should be dead. I can't find anything wrong with him. According to all the tests, he should just get up and walk out of here.
Over this, the copy of a weekly Variety review headlined, Star Trek Doesn't Work, crawls across the lower third of the screen as the reviewer reads it out loud.
The biggest guessing game is figuring out how this lowercase science fiction fantasy broke onto the TV schedule.
Interior, a lower-class mid-60s African-American home. Night. An African-American family watches more of Man Trap. A shot of Uhura makes their faces light up.
Message, Captain. Starbase on Corinth 4 requests explanation of our delay here, sir. Base Commander Dominguez says we have supplies he urgently needs.
The copy of a TV Counselor review headlined Star Trek, Sci-Fi Lacking Spirit, crawls across the screen as a reviewer reads it out loud.
Star Trek is a show so absurd, it is almost entertaining.
Interior, a college dormitory TV room. Night. A group of transfixed college students with Beatles haircuts sit on a lounge chair watching more of Man Trap. On screen, Shatner as Kirk gives an order to Nichelle as Uhura.
Keep a tight fix on us. If we let out a yell, I want an armed party down here before the echo dies.
Interior, Roddenberry's home. Night. Gene's daughters are watching Man Trap as well. Gene is behind them, unseen. He sneaks up on them. Gene, happier than he's ever been in his life, starts tickling them, making them laugh even harder. Eileen looks in from the room entrance, disapproving. Got a better hairdo and better clothes, and the house is an expensive furnishings now from all the money Gene's earning on the show. But it's made her more unhappy, not less. Insert. A shot of Nielsen ratings in list form as a Hollywood area radio host announces,
Star Trek garnered a relatively tepid Nielsen rating of just over 11 million viewers.
We see more shots from broadcast episodes as more headlines crawl across the screen's lower third.
The ratings slide for space series Star Trek continues as the sci-fi show keeps shedding viewers.
Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Sulu beam down to a planet surface with 2 red shirts. A headline in Variety reads, Star Trek ratings bust. The Greek god Apollo towers over Kirk, Spock, and Scotty in the episode Who Mourns for Adonis.
Bewitched continues its ratings dominance for the primetime television hours, followed by Love on a Rooftop in second. In third place, Star Trek flounders for last place NBC.
Kirk on Cestus 3 with his phaser drawn, leaving a team in the midst of an intense skirmish with the Gorn Squadron.
It's surprising Star Trek has lasted this long, given its poor performance.
Interior, Gene's Desilu office. Months have passed. Gene resumes typing when writer John D.F. Black storms in the door without knocking, angrily tossing a well-thumbed, marked-up script on Gene's desk. DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison are in the same room as well.
You keep rewriting me and rewriting me.
I'm not your mommy, John. My job isn't to tell you everything you did is great just because you did it. Yes, I rewrote you, but maybe it's because I had to, because you don't get it.
No, I get it. I get it fine. You're an asshole.
Everybody, just calm down a second, okay? John, I know Gene values your contribution to the show, but it is his show, so we have to run what...
You have us running in circles 18 hours a day, typing our asses off, working in factory floor conditions. This is a hostile working environment and a violation of our civil rights as creators and human beings.
You want to give notes? Fine, but why be an asshole about it?
I don't like being rewritten.
Just shut up! All you! Maybe you're right, John. Maybe I should just leave your scripts as is, the way you delivered them. The shitty, half-baked, half-cocked ways you wrote the fucking things! Or maybe I should put the show first. That way the audience doesn't have to sit through a John D.F. Black slogfest just so you can feel good about yourself.
Right. That's rich. Gene Roddenberry, great bird of the galaxy, whose presence we're blessed to be in, whose words come down like manna from heaven.
I'm Star Trek. You're not.
Interior, Beverly Hilton Hotel, Emmy Awards dinner, night. An array of circular tables, alight in candles, men in tuxes, women in gowns, settle on the Desilu table, where Gene sits with Solo, Justman, and all their wives, including Eileen, who is extremely uncomfortable and out of place. Lucy is there with Fred. Also, Harlan Ellison is there, seething. He fucking hates Gene.
And the award for the most outstanding script for a dramatic television series is... Star Trek, episode titled City on the Edge of Forever, Story and Teleplay by Harlan Ellison.
Desilu table is on their feet, applauding with the rest of the crowd. Harlan takes the stage.
I want to thank the Academy, and I also want to thank the other nominees in this category who've done some tremendous work. It's an honor to be in your great company. And I want to thank you for honoring science fiction. Our show proves that sci-fi doesn't have to be relegated to a situation comedy in order to find an audience. But as I stand here tonight, I'm really struck by one thing: the importance of artistic integrity.
Oh shit, here we go.
We are in the midst of a creative crisis. Thoughtless producers are interfering with the writing process. Not only did one in particular rewrite my script, but the rest of the staff's scripts. That's not just a bad thing for us. It's bad for television. It's bad for artistic expression. That ultimately is very bad for the audience. Remember to never, ever let them rewrite you. Never. Never, ever. Woo!
Exterior, Beverly Hilton Hotel, Emmy Awards dinner, night. Gene, still angry, storms out of the awards dinner with a bewildered Eileen in tow. There's a small collection of Hollywood press with tape recorders and cameras who descend on him.
Mr. Roddenberry, do you have any comment?
Behind him, Harlan emerges, gloating, holding his award.
Mr. Ellison, why didn't you say what you said?
Why? Oh, it's very simple, really. Anyone who's ever had any degree of semi-meaningful interaction with Gene Roddenberry is driven completely and totally insane.
Interior, Star Trek stage, Enterprise Bridge, day. Nimoy and Shatner are shooting a scene from an episode as Gene paces in the back.
Captain, we've reached the designated position for scanning the coded directive tape.
Cut, reset, let's go again.
Solo walks onto the stage, approaching.
Gene.
Gene ignores him, instead looking at a script page one of the other writers hands to him.
No. More emotion. And for fuck's sake, more concise.
Gene!
Not now, Herb.
Now! NBC is going to cancel the show.
What? We just won an Emmy.
But we keep losing our time slot. Which do you think actually matters? Look, I know you want to make art and change the world and all the rest of it. But we're selling light bulbs and toothpaste here. We can't do that without eyeballs.
I won't let them cancel the show. I won't.
How are you going to stop them?
KRLA Pasadena proudly joins the fight to save Star Trek from cancellation.
Exterior, Burbank, NBC, protest day. Just like the 60s anti-war protests, a march on the offices of NBC begins. About 1,000 students are there.
March on NBC studios in Burbank today. What do the suits at NBC have against Mr. Spock? Admittedly, he doesn't have a human heart. But do they? It's going to be a long, long day of fighting the man.
From afar, up on a hill, Gene watches from a Harley Davidson wearing black leather biker gear and sunglasses.
Take that, you sons of bitches.
Exterior, NBC parking lot. Later, day. Grant Tinker comes out of the office, briefcase in hand, ready to head home for the day. All the cars in the executive lot are covered in Mr. Spock for President bumper stickers. He's so taken aback he almost drops his keys. Interior, a mansion, Beverly Hills, day. Solo sits with Lucy, who nervously smokes a cigarette.
NBC hasn't made a final decision, but we're hanging by our fingernails. That Roddenberry's out there organizing protests like he's some kind of sci-fi Che Guevara.
Christ.
Interior, Roddenberry's office, night. Gene is drunk, pacing around in his office. He picks up the phone calling Grant Tinker, who is at his desk reviewing an earnings report.
Grant, Gene Roddenberry. Now, if Star Trek isn't working for you, how about a show called Marvel Mother? It tells the story of a sweet old lady, and she just steps into a phone booth, and kazam! She becomes a swinging, buxom blonde.
Gene, this isn't very professional. Can you
No,
please...
there's another idea I got. It's called Wonder Rabbi. He kazams into an Episcopal minister whose reversed white collar is actually a steel boomerang. I got more. Let me know if I should keep thinking.
Interior, Roddenberry's office, the next day.
It was a joke. I mean, can't those fucking suits take a joke?
You can't do shit like this right now. Go home. Spend time with your family. I'll call if I hear anything. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. Don't do anything.
Interior, Roddenberry home, night.
Dad, you okay?
Can you give me the bottle, darling?
At least let me pour it.
She goes to pour. Then Gene goes to grab the glass before she's done, and some wine spills on the nice bright white tablecloth. Darlene gasps. Dawn gasps. Eileen appears through the kitchen door, holding a turkey. She gasps as well.
Will everyone calm down? It's just a fucking tablecloth. I mean, who cares?
Eileen slams the turkey down on the table.
Seriously, Eileen, who gives a shit about this?
Everyone just sits there while Eileen breaks down.
I'm out of here.
He gets up, grabs his keys, and walks out. Exterior, the Sunset Strip, Mulholland Drive, Various, night. Gene is dressed in biker gear, riding the Harley Davidson, with Majel holding on to him. They take a long, winding trip through Hollywood. They're lovers, co-conspirators, codependents, rebels. Over this, fans read letters they've sent to NBC, audio crossfading one over the other, with the text of the letters superimposed on the bottom of the screen.
Dear NBC, seeing a show like Star Trek on TV is a dream come true for me. Please don't cancel it.
As a woman, I applaud the show's portrayal of female crew members as equals and think it needs to stay on the air.
I'm a paraplegic who lost the use of my legs after serving in Vietnam. I came home hopeless. I was even suicidal. But Star Trek has given me hope. It's made me feel like there's still a place in the world for someone like me.
Interior, NBC mailroom and hallway, day. A U.S. postal mailman walks into the space wheeling in 2 big crates of mail, filled to the brim as more voices continue reading.
If you cancel the show, what else are we gonna watch? There's nothing like it on TV now.
Star Trek has inspired me to pursue a career in science. Now I want to be a biochemical researcher.
More letters fade up, many in different languages, Japanese, Spanish, German, Russian. There are so many letters that they start to blend into cacophony. But it stops when the mailman gets to his destination. A beleaguered mailboy is trying to sort everything.
What do you want all this?
Interior, late 1960s home, night. With everyone in the family sitting around the TV, the promo for the next Star Trek episode features an announcement.
NBC is excited to announce that Star Trek will be returning for another season.
The pop of champagne can be heard. Interior, Star Trek, production office, day. Gene pours champagne into paper cups, handing them out to the cast and crew.
We're back in business!
The place erupts in revelry, shouts and cheers. Almost everyone is there. Shatner, Nimoy, D. Kelly, Majel, Nichelle. Solo, however, is noticeably absent. In the middle of it, a drunk Gene leads a comely female extra towards his office, drunkenly patting her rear as they go. Across the room, Majel, also drunk, looks for him. At the entrance, Solo enters, stone cold sober, a little taken aback by the scene here. Across the room again. Majel catches a glimpse of Gene leading the extra into his office and she stops in her tracks, too stunned to do anything. At the entrance, Solo is so turned off by what he sees that he walks out.
Star Trek renewal isn't something we should be celebrating.
Interior, Desilu board meeting, day. Another grim meeting with the board.
We're burning through cash at an unsustainable rate.
I'm having Roddenberry write episodes confined to the ship to save money.
I think we should shut down production and invest in real estate.
Freddie, we've been through this.
We can start expanding into hotels, shopping centers.
My company is a production company. I'm not Nelson Rockefeller. We've been through this tough times before. The only difference between then and now is that Desi was the president and I was the wife.
Interior, Desilu hallway later, day. The meeting has ended and Solo walks through the hall, head down.
I'm sorry, Herb. I'm going to have to let you go.
This is really tough for her. She likes him. This isn't entirely unexpected, but it's still hard to hear. Interior, Desilu office, day. Solo goes back into the office where this all began. There's nothing in there but the sunflower he brought on his first day. It's very, very dead.
I'm forced to bring in someone to control Roddenberry. It probably won't work. It's probably a fool's errand, but the shareholders need to see I tried something.
Interior, Century Plaza Hotel, lobby, day. Gene, hungover, wearing sunglasses, makes a call from a payphone in this bustling lobby, smoking a cigarette.
Colleen, it's me.
When are you coming home?
I'm not. I want a divorce.
Exterior, Roddenberry's home, day. Gene drives up to the house. He sees Eileen throwing his books, papers, and other personal possessions onto the lawn.
How could you do this to me? You ruined my life!
He starts trying to pick up his stuff, but she starts grabbing it and throwing it into the metal trash cans nearby.
Fuck you, Gene Roddenberry!
Her scream echoes as we go to.
I said I wasn't to be disturbed.
Lucy, frustrated, stands up, opening the door, ready to let the person there have it. It's Desi.
We need to talk. You know I love you, Lucy, but I'm worried. I'm here because I care for you.
Freddie, I told you not to let anyone in here.
Freddie was the one who asked me to talk to you. You are losing control of the company. The money's going out faster than it's coming in. The shareholders will crucify you. That isn't something I can sit back and watch. There is a way out of this. You can sell the company. Gulf and Western are making an offer. You can get out of this clean. You can go back to being who you were. Lucy, the star actress that everybody loves.
Interior, Star Trek writer's office hallway, evening. A bunch of the writers sit around drinking, wearing party hats. At this point in the production of the show, it's become more like a frat house than a professional operation. Gene is shit-faced. He walks a very tipsy Majel down the hall.
Babe, you know you're the only one for me.
He moves to kiss her, but she pulls away. He fumbles in his pocket, fishing out a ring box. He hands it over.
You left Eileen.
He pulls her close.
You're the only one for me.
He moves to kiss her again, and this time, she lets him. From around the corner, Nichelle appears. She sees them being intimate, and it startles her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She moves to back away.
What?
Don't worry about it, baby.
Nichelle immediately walks out to keep from being overcome by tears. Interior, Nichelle Nichols' apartment, night. Nichelle's makeup runs in tear streaks down her face. She's on the phone with her agent, packing her bag.
I'm quitting. I don't care. I'm getting on a plane and I'm going back to the theater. My first love was theater. That's why I got into this business, and
There's someone who wants to meet you, and I'm telling you, you aren't going to believe it.
Interior, a church in Los Angeles, the next day. Nichelle enters, dressed up in her Sunday best. She walks down the empty aisle to find a black man near the front, looking up at the altar, praying.
Hello?
Before the man can turn around, we go to Interior, a mansion, Beverly Hills, day. Gene and Nichelle are sitting with Lucy in the midst of a meeting, teacups around. It's tense, awkward. Gene sips his tea and says,
Wow, that's good.
Thank you. But you aren't here to talk about my tea, are you? Why are you here, Mr. Roddenberry?
Tell her. Just like you told me.
I was going to quit the show. I wanted to go back to the theater, but I was on the phone with my agent. He said someone asked to meet me.
We see Nichelle approach the black man. It's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 37.
It was Martin Luther King. He said,
Miss Nichols, how glorious it is to finally meet you.
The honor's mine, sir.
I just want you to know how much we enjoy your program.
Thank you.
It's the only show my wife Coretta and I let the children watch. Your character, she's treated as a competent equal.
That's very kind of you to say, but, well, I decided that I'm quitting the show.
He's stunned, even a little hurt.
No, you can't quit. What you're doing is too important. You show us what we're meant to be shown. And right now, you're the only one on television like that. With all my heart, I beg you, stay.
So, I came back.
We did it. What we set out to do. Changing perceptions with our little science fiction show. Making the world a little bit of a better place.
Interior, Gulf and Western corporate boardroom, day. Lucy sits at the end of a long, long table. Her back is to us, sitting over a pile of papers, a contract. Presumably she's reading it, but we can't see. We hear a small noise, a little plink, 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 plink. We can't tell what it is, but it's steady, like a metronome. And then we push in and we can see it, tears. Her tears are running down her cheeks and hitting the paper. Her pen is poised over the signature line and she hesitates there. standing off to the side. Giving her the space she needs are Fred, Edwin Hawley, Gulf and Western Chairman Charles G. Bouldorn, 50s, and several lawyers. Fred, sensing her emotional state, steps forward.
It's a good deal, Lucy. It's what's best for all of us.
Promise me something. When you take over, keep Star Trek on the air as long as you can.
I promise you that I'll do my best.
Tover. Interior, Star Trek production office. Day. Gene, head down, walks through the office one last time.
NBC has announced that its series, Star Trek, has been canceled. This time, it's for good, folks. Protests ain't gonna save this one again.
Interior, Century Plaza hotel room. Night. Gene, depressed, watches the moon landing with a drink in hand.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Interior, Swanky Lounge, the Prince Hotel, 1969, night. After everything he's gone through, Gene is back where we first saw him, taking another showrunner and his wife out to dinner.
So then what happened?
The plane went down, but our troubles were just beginning because of Bedouins.
Bedouins?
Yeah, they're like nomads, I guess.
Hippies?
No, like desert people.
Oh.
Gene just pulls the ripcord on the story.
So they came after us, and I settled it with them. Then I walked into town and I called Pan Am in New York, and they picked us up.
There's an awkward silence.
Glad you're all right.
Safe and sound.
Uh-huh.
So, let me ask you something, Mike. Can you bring me to write an episode or two of your show? I got a lot of ideas for you. A whole lot.
You're a great guy, Gene, but I'm all stuffed up. I wish it were different. And if anything changes, I'll definitely keep you in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Keep me in mind. That's all I can ask.
Exterior, Hollywood, driving, night. Gene, despondent, drives around in circles, and yes, a little drunk. Suddenly, he gets an idea and pulls a dramatic U-turn. He drives to Interior, Cock and Bull, night. Gene is sitting at the bar. A few more drinks in. The door opens. It's Solo. He approaches and sits down.
I wasn't sure you'd show.
I almost didn't.
You know, I keep telling myself there'll be other shows, but I have to keep repeating it. And repeating it is the first thing that I think in the morning, and it's the last thing that I think before I go to bed.
Gene, you're one of the brightest, most passionate people I've ever met. Since it's just us and we're having a drink, I might even go as far as saying you're a genius. I believed in you. But I've never come across someone who's so...
What? Go on, just say it.
An enemy to himself. You got the ending you worked for. You earned the cancellation.
I'm not perfect. Who is? Not you. Not any of us. But even if we had been, would it have mattered? Hollywood isn't ready to have a woman for a boss. And America isn't ready for a show like Star Trek. But maybe someday we will be.